Okay, and very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Transforming Smart Estate Operations with ARVR webinar brought to you by Pixel and our partners. My name is Billy Teo, and I'm really thrilled to be your MC for today. Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome. This webinar is going to be, knocking your socks off, right, with a lot of very interesting case studies about the power of ARVR in transforming, industry sectors. And today we're going to focus on the smart estate sector. All right. So I just want to tell you that today is the very first in Pixel's new ARVR Metaverse webinar series. So if you want to stay in touch with us, right, we're going to give you the links to basically be in touch with us so that we can tell you about all our exciting upcoming webinars in the ARVR Metaverse series. There'll be more to come, I promise you, and it's going to be even more exciting than today's. Okay, but before we do that, I'd like to invite my colleague Amira to basically show you the links right in the chat group to stay connected with Pixel. For example, we have the Pixel website at impixel.imda.gov.sg. So my colleague Amira will flash that in the chat group. We also have our LinkedIn page where we share a lot of very cool, interesting updates and news, including not just Pixel, but also content from our partners in the Open Innovation Platform, or OIP. So you can go to linkedin.com/showcase/SGD-Pixel. We're also on Facebook, more for our fun audience, and Amina also will show you where to find us on Facebook. But most importantly, we also have a regular EDM where we email updates and including invitations to webinars just like this. So if you or your friends would like to stay in touch with Pixel, do sign up for our EDM. I'm going to invite Amina right now to flash the EDM link in the chat within Zoom as well. So just make sure you get all the links right, cut and paste, and make sure you file them away, because we do share a lot of cool content, and we do have a lot of cool webinars coming up that we want to invite you to as well. Now, the purpose of this new AR/VR Metaverse webinar series by Pixel, right? Basically, we live in a world, right, where companies, right, like Meta, formerly known as Facebook, and even Accenture, right, the consulting firm, right, they're giving employees, right, virtual reality glasses. Why? Because it seems that the new way to communicate, right, remotely, right, is to basically project ourselves as avatars in a virtual environment. And this is something that is going on trend right now. And imagine the likes of companies, right, mega companies, right, like Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and even gaming company Valve, right, they are building products, right, in the AR/VR world, right, for work and communication and more. So today's Metaverse, right, the Metaverse is the new buzzword, but it's basically the latest development in the evolution of the immersive media world, right? And today, we're really thrilled, right, to have experts on hand, right, in this webinar who can share with us, right, evidence and case studies, right? Okay, the business guys will call it use cases, but I guess I prefer case studies because I'm more of a student, I guess. And then it's basic case studies of how immersive media, right, or AR/VR, right, is revolutionizing how we design, how we build, we simulate, we measure, we evaluate, we connect, we communicate, even how we manage our smart estate operations, right? All the way from, say, Changi Airport to the Tuas megaport and every kind of built environment we can think of, right? So first of all, a round of advanced thanks to our expert speakers today. I'd like to thank Mr. Kartik Adagalasri, Senior Manager from Eon Reality, Dr. Chong Chi Leung, Managing Director of Aviation Virtual, Mr. Shi Yanji, Director of VALS, as well as, okay, this is going to be a bit of tongue twister for me, Mr. Guillaume Panot, Business and Tech Director of Obentic. Thank you guys for being here with us today and for sharing your expertise, and along with your very cool case studies, right? I'm really looking forward to it. And today's session, right, will close with a live Q&A. So again, it's a live Q&A, not pre-recorded, where you can ask our four speakers, right, anything about their presentations, right, including their take on what is the future of AR/VR and the metaverse in our industry, right, including the smart estate industry. So please use the Zoom Q&A tool within the Zoom, right, to flash your questions or to post your questions for our speakers, and do indicate who you would like to answer your question, right? So once again, please use the Zoom Q&A tool to post your questions for our speakers, and we'll do our very best to facilitate and to get them to answer as many as we can within the time limit today, right? So we do hope that you'll give us your burning questions within the Zoom Q&A tool, and we definitely look forward to your questions for our speakers. Please don't give chance, give them the toughest questions that you think of, right, related to the future of AR/VR, as well as the metaverse, especially in the smart estate operations field. Okay, I'm looking at the clock now. We have just 1 minute to go, but I'm going to start early today, so thank goodness you guys are all very early today. Our very first topic is titled Advancing Training and Remote Collaboration with Kamijima Corporation. And our very first speaker is Kartik Senior Manager of Eon Reality. So just allow me maybe just about half a minute to talk a bit about Karthik and Eon Reality. So Karthik says he's a visionary with a strong belief that virtual and augmented reality, or ARVR, right, will create healthy business opportunities globally, right? So he's an accomplished operations manager with more than 7 years of experience focusing on AR/VR projects, right, all the way from the initiation stage to the final operation stage. And he says that he's a results-oriented leader with a proven success in building exceptional customer relationships. So basically, Karthik is an all-rounder, right, in the world of AR/VR technology, right? And he has a lot of experience, including leading projects in Asia Pacific as well as in the Middle East, right? So I really think he's really cool. I'm looking forward to his presentation. And one of the key use cases he'll be talking about will be Eon Reality's project with Kajima Construction. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. Now, allow me to just maybe share just about 2 or 3 facts about Eon Reality for our friends who are new to the company, right? So Eon Reality is a global leader, I would say, in augmented and virtual reality in academic and industry training solutions, right? So they are basically been developing such solutions for, I think, the last 20 years, right? And have been developing the de facto standard for AR/VR education and industry solutions, right? Supporting a wide range of devices, including all the way from smartphones to head-mounted displays and large screens and facilities, right? And they have over 20 locations worldwide, right, including in Singapore. And guess where is the Singapore of Asia Pacific office of Eon Reality? I believe they're just our next door neighbor, right? They're based at Biopolis Road at the Nuclear. So Karthik, I'll be popping by for coffee very soon, right? Because you guys are so near Pixel anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you Karthik from Eon Reality talking about advancing training and remote collaboration with Kajima Corporation. Please take it away, Karthik.
Thank you, Billy, for your introduction. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all here today. Let me share my screen to get started. Okay, I hope all of you can see my screen. Okay, so thank you, Billy, once again for your introduction. So let me give a quick overview about Eon Reality. So as Billy said, Eon Reality has been recognized as a leader in the EdTech segment. But at Eon Reality, our core mission is to make content creation easy and accessible for everyone. So we want to make the content creation to be easy for learning purposes, for training purposes, for performance reviews, and also for collaboration as well. Started in 1998. Our headquarters is in California, Irvine, and our Singapore office acts like an regional headquarters for the Asia Pacific region, but we also have other regional offices in other locations around the world as well. And I think Eon Reality have an opportunity to collaborate with various industry customers around the world over the past 2 decades. I think we have done more than 1,000 enterprise engagements that adapt to AR and VR technologies in various segments. Let it be for upskilling purposes, let it be for solving some of their operational requirement, or also let it be for giving them hands-on training before they get into the actual job. And we also have a very good record that's been shared with us. For example, Shanghai Airport Group have been sharing the feedback that they're able to save 25% of their time, especially for their ground handling operations, by using our EonXR platform tools. And also Kajima have said that they were able to kind of do real-time surveys much faster, and also kind of able to use our platform on a daily basis, especially during the pandemic time, where it's impossible for all of us to be on the site. So to use our platform collaboration tools for reviewing the project progress, and also kind of comparing the real versus digital to kind of bring the real project information, and also comparing it with where the original schedule is, for example, and also kind of get in touch with their expert. They can also use our like our remote collaboration tools to kind of call in for an expert, or even call in for a vendor to check quickly about the status of the construction phase as well. What we are showing here is like a very short recording of the BIM data that's been imported in our platform, but you learn more about our platform in a minute. So before that, let me explain a bit about the problem, specifically for construction industry. So one of the major concerns is still the workspace injuries that's been happening. So as per the record given by WSH, in 2020, there were about 11,300 injuries. And unfortunately, there were 30 fatal injuries as well. And one of the main, reason for these injuries is the lack of exposure for the workers to make critical decisions, especially when they're exposed to a scenario like that. So how we can avoid that? How we can prepare them so that these issues can be minimized. And also another aspect, and also it's been quite common these days, as you can see, there's a lot of constructions happening in Singapore. Most of them are delayed, mostly due to the lack of resources and also due to the lack of availability of experts on site. So how we can address this problem as well? So now many companies around the world have been adapting to AR and VR, and probably doing a very proof of concept level phase where they touch the basic issue and then they try to see how AR and VR can solve it. But our solution at Eon Reality is to kind of allow any enterprise customer around the world to use our platform and on the site, off the site, and ability to create their experiences or share their issues in real time and help them to solve the problems in real time. So the idea is to reduce the downtime and also help them to create scenarios and make them make them exposed to those, for example, high risk scenarios, and make them familiar with it, so that when they are working on the site, they always feel safe and they know exactly what they've been doing as well. And how we were able to achieve that is we brought the best of AR and VR technologies together. And what we do here at Eon Reality is, on a daily basis, we constantly scout for the better ways to make it simpler and easier for anyone to create their own experiences. So, and today our platform actually supports most of the devices. Let it be smartphones, tablets, wearable devices such as Oculus Quest, or also mixed reality devices such as HoloLens or even Magic Leap as well. So you are not limited to use a one particular device for for kind of using AR and VR tools. You can actually use our platform, create an experience from any device, and then your colleague can join from anywhere in the world. You can collaborate. You can actually try to resolve a problem that that would be impossible to solve otherwise. Okay, so what you can do with our platform is actually a no-code tool that lets you to create content yourself. And as Billy mentioned, the term Metaverse ahead. So our platform also helps you to create the Metaverse content as well. You can actually create your own Metaverse using Eon Reality's platform as well. In fact, a couple of customers here in Singapore are also exploring that with Eon Reality today as well. So now, to give a quick glimpse of what our platform can do today, so I have a couple of videos to play. So I'm going to start by showcasing you the platform feature set. So everything that you have seen here is actually a small snippets that we have taken from our platform itself, and everything here is live. So you can actually download the Eon XR app in your smartphone and try out some of the things that have been showcased here as well. So with our platform, you can actually create two different types of content. One is a 3D content that can actually import your own 3D models or use the library that we already have to create your experiences, or you can also take 360 photos or 360 videos and create experiences on top of it as well. But we didn't just stop there. So what we have actually created, especially to create to help enterprises create digital twin experiences and also to make use of AI technologies to generate content in real time, we have launched an add-on product. We call it Merged XR, and I'm going to show a quick glimpse of what you can do with it. So with Merged XR, you can create digital twin experiences right from your smartphone itself. And also, we just didn't stop there. So we also added collaborative features, and we have our unique way of actually allowing people to collaborate in a shared space in AR. So we call it spatial meetings. And I'm going to give a quick, overview of what you can do with spatial meetings as well. I have a different video for it, and so let me YouTube as well. Later. I'm gonna take a pause here. So with spatial meetings, what you can do, you and your colleagues can actually see yourself as avatars. You can actually collaborate, you can interact, and you all will be in the one common shared space. And your colleagues can actually join from anywhere in the world. Okay, so with the Alexa platform, you can actually use one platform to actually create a number of scenarios. You can actually use it for learning purposes, or you can actually use it for training, or you can actually use it for for testing and certifying your teams as well, or you can actually use our collaboration tools for creating shared experiences as well. So I think the possibilities with the Nexa platform are limitless. And one of the beauties about our platform is it supports various devices that are available in the market today. So you don't actually have to pick a device and rely to create experience on that device. You can choose any device and you can create your experiences. Let it be a standard XR experience, or let it be like a digital twin experience, and our platform will actually able to convert that experience into a device that you are actually using to play with. So with that, I'll take it. I'm going to end the session. So thanks a lot, everyone, for giving me the time. Back to you, Billy.
Thank you very much, Karthik. But don't go away, because you'll be having you back for our Q&A session coming up. So just grab a quick coffee. And thank you very much for a very exciting presentation on the Eon XR platform. You make it seem so easy for any of us, right, to just create and to produce XR assets right now for extended reality. So it's very interesting. Thank you very much. I think the spatial meetings also look very, very cool. So ladies and gentlemen, I have good news to share is that Eon Reality is now a Pixel partner, and then the Pixel community will get to try the Eon XR platform, right, for 3 months, I believe, in a special arrangement. So we get to try the license platform for 3 months. So thank you very much for this very special partnership, and I will see Karthik in a very short while. Thank you, Karthik. You have earned yourself a very short break. We'll see you back soon in just a short while. Thank you very much. Wait, coming up next, we're gonna move on to the topic of transforming the design, build, and showcase of physical spaces. And our speaker is Dr. Chong Chi Leong, the Managing Director of Aviation Virtual. And Dr. Chong is a civil engineer by practice and academic professor and researcher by occupation. And now he says he's a virtual reality advocate who believes that what the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes, right? I think it's a quote from Houdini. And Dr. Chong holds a PhD from MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and he was a former founding dean and professor at the Unisim's School of Science and Technology. Okay, if I were to read out all his accolades, right, and all his CV achievements, right, it's going to take me about 2 hours to go. So you guys can wait for me, right? 2 hours to go. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So Dr. says he has worked with clients and managed projects in several Asian countries in the realm of virtual reality, and he says that Aviation Virtual, right, was set up 7 years ago, right, to ride the wave of VR technology, because he and his partners believe that the timing was just right, and they have applied the technology to different sectors, from aviation to building construction and all the way to healthcare. And as you can see later, even to the Tuas megaport. Oh, spoiler alert, guys, sorry. Just like No Way Home, I just give away the spoiler alert, sorry. So, but anyway, I like this thing about the quote that Aviation Virtual has on the website. It says that we create the virtual world content, we write algorithms to simulate the virtual world, and we render the simulation to your senses so that your mind can put the pieces together to form the experience. This is exactly what Morpheus will say to Neo in the Matrix. So I really love this quote very much. So today, I believe Dr. Chung was going to show us how VR and AR can be used to preview, review, analyze, and control the performance of building designs. So I'm all ready to listen to Dr. Chung. Dr. Chung, please take it away with your presentation on transforming the design, build, and showcase of physical spaces. Over to you, Dr. Chong.
Well, thanks, Billy. Thanks for that very nice and pretty long introduction. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. And well, I'd like to welcome you to this session, and also thank you for the opportunity to bring across some of the interesting projects that we have actually worked on. So while the topic is smart virtualization, I think we have moved beyond virtual reality to now looking at how VR could actually be applied and to actually bring solutions that are useful for people. So I call it the building block for Metaverse, because Metaverse has just been articulated by Mark Zuckerberg. Nobody knows what it is. It's just a platform. But I think one of the things that are needed is actually this rich content, which is back to the e-commerce days, right? You have the channel, you need the content. So a lot of people ask, what is aviation virtual and what are you doing in this particular area? Aviation virtual is because my partner comes from the Air Force, so he's aviation. I am the other guy who's always in the background, basically virtually not there. So that's how aviation virtual came about. Okay, so I think this is always a good way to tell people why aviation virtual. So we don't just focus on aviation. Right, and so we've actually worked on quite a fair bit of things. So if you look at that, we cut across different industries, because I think at the end of the day, it's really well, if VR is a solution, then what is the question? And that's why we actually applied that same question to every sector to find out what then really works in different sectors. It doesn't work in everything. So I think that's why we're a bit careful. This is just a very quick glance of some of the solutions that we developed. Over 7 years, we've actually taken a very small step each time, trying to actually leap on to the next level in terms of projects. So we try to always use other people's money to fund our project development. I think so far we've been able to grow organically, which is actually something good. If you look at it, actually it spreads across different industries. The AR one was interesting because it was trying to apply augmented reality to placing blocks for ships. And then of course the bottom one, even outdoing the engineers, instead of just scaled down model, we now have the digital twin for scaled down model so that they can save money when they build the scaled model. So that's actually interesting. Right, so when we move from virtual reality to virtualization, it's actually bringing the virtuality thing back to reality, and which is where the real and the virtual actually becomes very fuzzy. So when we started with the cave, that was about 7 years ago, visualization, basically the focus was a lot on sight and sound. If you see it, if you hear it, you tend to believe it. But then I think along the way, people say, what about the touch? The touch is just as important as the third sensors that the humans have. So we brought in the touch by bringing in the haptic component. So what you see there is that he's still wearing a V-set in a VR environment, but then he has got this panel in front of him so that he could also learn what we call the muscle skills to actually be able to touch things. And then we then move on to this thing about analytics. So when we actually started in the building construction industry on a BCA project together, which was funded by ESG, was basically to use AR to actually look at the building inspection and checking, and then do the analytics at the back end. All right, so this is actually the first thing that we talk about, virtualization. It allows you to preview whatever is going on before you even build it, allows you to run analysis, allows you to review what is the result of the analysis, be able to predict, and moving forward, even be able to forecast, okay? So this is just an example of a very simple virtual tunnel. Green tunnel, and what we do is that we actually run a CFD program, put Marina Bay Sand in the middle, and this is very much what BCA requires for a lot of high-rise buildings. You need to do the wind tunnel test. So instead of building a model and running it into a scaled-down wind tunnel, you could actually do it virtually at a fraction of the cost, believe me. And you could actually have all those features. There are streamlined contour particles. You could increase the wind, decrease the wind, turn the building here and there, and then you will get your analysis at the end of the day, right? So that's one example. This was also done for a client where they wanted to put a VR model on the web, but then this is different because most of the models you see on the website, you cannot interact with it, you cannot go into it, you cannot be immersive. This is actually an immersive model. You can actually, using a web browser, fly into the building, look at the units that you want, and be able to just walk through the whole building to see what it is. I think this is what we all think the metaverse should be. And this is what we saw an example of a rich content that we think will be most appropriate for that. Yeah. All right, and then, okay, and then this was done actually a few years back when we were doing Jewel and Terminal 1 extension, using virtual reality to do signages. So do virtual signages, put it in the virtual model, and then get people to walk around and give feedback, and then get the signage contractors to basically run this and view this and do this. So no mistakes made at the end of the day. So it's actually interesting. Okay, so this is where I come to actually what is then the gist of today's talk. I call it rich digital models because a lot of the models we do are very rich in detail, sometimes actually too rich, but then we focus on what we call exact physics. We focus on exact features. If a person is walking and running, he cannot be cartoonish, he has to be like the real thing, right? So, but we don't focus on avatars, we focus more on the physical features. So we'll then show you 4 examples, and I actually go through each of them. I've got about 5 minutes, I've timed it. So you could actually see how each of these actually contributes towards this digital model that we talked about. So Guangzhou, when we started, basically the mandate for this was actually quite simple. Buildings are not up, the whole township is not up. Can we actually model so that it could be used for land sales? Right? So because it's very hard to tell people, oh, there's going to be a school here, there's going to be a what there and there, and then people actually have to have a lot of imagination to figure out, like, this was all they had in the beginning, a scaled down model, desktop architectural model. And these are some of the buildings that are there. We flew a drone there to do the scanning. The project took about 5 weeks. And I think at the end of it, this is what came out. We sort of were able to put everything together, geo-located correctly, and then get people to have an experience to actually walk through the entire thing. So this is Guangzhou city without the city being up, but you get to experience it. And then you get to walk it. And if they want traffic, we give them traffic. If they want people, we get them people. If they want trees, we give them trees. So everything is that. We even have one where we actually created rain. This is actually inside a co-work space, how it will look like. Right, and this is also a walkthrough. So it shows people various parts of the place which you can actually walk through. And this is actually shown in a cave. So you can actually immersively walk through it in a 1:1 scale. And this is actually at the end of the day what we delivered. Every building you see there has been modeled, and every building there is actually right specs, right dimension, etc. So what use of it is this? This is actually good because it's good for planning, it's good for sales, it's good for actually just publicity, telling people what the city is all about, right? And I think we have actually tried to move this beyond this to see how we can actually, we call it monetize the model by building a virtual Guangzhou knowledge city in addition to the physical one. This is more local, somewhere in Jurong West, Bulim. Because of COVID, it's not up and running yet, but then we've got the digital model, so that's important. And so because of COVID, no construction can be done, but a lot of review could be done. So this is, I think, a very good example. Trees on the, creepers on the columns, okay? Architects say it's not nice, consensus is not nice, so can you please remove it? We don't need to uproot the creepers, we just actually delete it and it looks clean. Right? Same for the second one, column there is not good. I'm an engineer by training. If architect tells me to remove a column, I say horrors. You can't, you got to do calculation. Virtually, I said, tell me which column to remove, I'll remove it tomorrow, no problem. Building will not collapse, but you have to go back and rework the thing again. So this is actually one of the advantages of digitizing your physical space. You can actually do a lot of changes, do a lot of review, do a lot of analysis. And also we did what we call a performance test on the building. This is supposed to be a logistic hub. So traffic flow is important. So how do you know that the flow is good if you don't test it, right? And most of the time you can only test it when everything is ready. But here, no, you can actually test it even before that. This is actually the people part, showing how a person drop off at the taxi stand and then he actually moves up. Right? But then if you actually, he actually walks through the building, and then just what is more interesting is the last part. Yeah, when we actually go down to the, just hang on, sorry. So sorry, just a glitch. Yeah, okay. So this is actually the logistic part that I think is more interesting. With all these AGVs and automated forklift, they're all based on models that are given to us. We've got actually the pallets and how things are going to be stored at the basement. And you can actually see the movement of the automated forklift and how, you know, the path it is, how you actually receive and then stack up the thing. Right, and then if you move further down, there's another forklift that's actually doing retrieval, and it's smart enough to actually bring it to the lift entrance and then go into the lift. Yeah. Right, so the test is also whether the turning radius is correct, whether the lift door is wide enough, yeah, whether the thing is smart enough to know how to activate the button. And so it actually goes into the lift. Right, so that I think is a very good example of how, you know, when you digitize something, you can actually use it to do a lot of this analysis. Yeah. Right, this is actually again more recent, 2 years ago, just before COVID. CAS, which is located at Terminal 2, wanted to actually renovate their workplace, but they want to take opportunity to do workplace transformation. So how do you get everybody involved who are going to be the stakeholders? So one way they did it was actually through this video. Right?
As part of workplace transformation, CAAS embarks on a process involving a committee of staff from all departments, led by a core team using VR as a tool for visualization. It is a practical and cost-effective approach where VR is used alongside the design thinking process. Through such visualization tools, architects and interior design consultants were able to bring the critical thinking aspects out of the staff that they engage. Within a span of 12 weeks to this event, with frequent visits to the Cave studio, our staff was able to experience the rapid evolution of the final design, a transformation of the existing workplace to this current form. The process takes the team through the initial conversion of AutoCAD floor plans into 3D VR format, where the architectural visualization workshops provide the rapid prototyping and live streaming interactive, real-time 3D stereoscopic visualization. As the design evolves, even the WTC members were able to experience the simulated walkthrough paths of the entire workspace, allowing them to provide feedback and comments to help shape the eventual design through a series of workshops. This gives everyone the opportunity to give constructive input, instead of restricting the decision-making to the architects and interior designers. VR and other interactive tools help facilitate the workplace transformation workshops. Various discussions about layout, furniture types, room creation, lighting, and walk paths evoke new and different ideas, improving the decision-making process. The team was able to finalize the future workplace in VR after the design had been confirmed and consolidated by the design consultants. A management preview in the cave was done for a final endorsement, and thereafter, videos based on specific walk paths were created from the final build with VR walkthrough for all to appreciate.
Okay, so this is actually an example of VR is just more than visualization, it's more than just a game. It is also used as a tool for real impact in that, people participating and through their creative ideas and design thinking, they're able to use this to see the fruit of their labor or the fruit of the input even before the building has been renovated. So the last one I'm talking about, this is actually a more recent project. This one actually takes what we do actually even further, because this one actually brings in the analytics part and also the control part. Okay, this is actually the reclaim land phase 1. So we're just looking at one little finger here, right? And I think the challenge was actually how to actually look at settlement beyond numbers, how to then know what are critical areas to address. Because when some of these things are actually built on areas that settle very quickly, you have a problem. Because this is supposed to be a smart pod. Most of the AGVs are supposed to be actually moving. So that is going to be a problem when there's no alignment between the sensor and the AGVs. So therefore, what we did was that this is actually a general model we use for what we call a VR model loader. We've actually done several of this for different organizations. But essentially, this is actually our black box. We have got a flat file from the simulation and from data collected, loaded into this thing. There's also a 3D world that we actually do up with all the objects. And then when you put the two together, you could actually interact it in this VR environment to actually see what is the future. So again, if you look at this, look at the bottom, this is actually the raw data. It's actually very difficult to interpret. Okay, you look at the thing, you look at all the different layers of soil, you look at the settlements, etc. You try doing that for 60 years, you go crazy. But then imagine if on top you have got this digital platform where you do a digital image of the land together with the subsections. And then the right side actually is a heat map of the settlement. So as we see the heat map, we know exactly where to pinpoint the trouble area. So visual is very powerful. It's more powerful than words. Yeah. Okay, this is just a video. I'll run this through very quickly. I won't bore you because this is not a technical thing. So I'm just trying to show you. So this is actually the little part that we're just looking at. Right. And these are the data that were given that we had to churn through. Right, and this is actually from my civil engineering experience, interesting things, but I don't think I want to look at it. These are boreholes that they dig up from the ground. So you know actually that different sediments, and so we actually converted it into a very simple spreadsheet. And then we loaded this spreadsheet actually into this thing. Okay, this is what we call a digital model of the pod. So what we have now is you look, this is actually the same as the CFD thing that we did. You could go to any place of interest there. You could go as first person, go as third person, do a walkthrough. You could actually look at the different land. You could look at the view. Do you want to look at the superstructure? Do you want to look at the terrain? Or do you want to just look at the overlay? Do you want to look at the boreholes, etc.? So this gives you a very good analytical tool to actually play with the thing and be able. So believe me, any lay person can do this, can use this. You don't need to be a civil engineer. And that's why I find it so powerful. I'm a civil engineer, but I think it is very good to empower people, normal people, to be able to do this, to understand what they're doing, and to be able to discuss with the engineers and the experts what their opinions are. And it's a very powerful tool. I think it's very good. Yeah. So this is actually an example. And then we look at the different ball holes. And then we have the different, what I want to show you is this. Yeah. We're able to do this. So if you just mouse over, you have all the information of the different type of sort. Yeah. So, you don't need to actually refer to anything. Just play with this model. You understand the land perfectly at different locations. And then we can go down and then, yeah, and then you go back to this, and you could even plot a graph. Like for example, you want to know a certain area, what is the settlement over 60 years. So the thing will extract and then plot for you a graph. You could actually present it and do analysis. Or better still, we don't want graph, you want to do heat map. Okay, this is then a heat map that's run over different years. So you can actually see that as the year progresses, where the areas are coming. Yeah, so it goes from green all the way to some areas become orange at the end. And then it's updated almost every other month with on-site institute data, so that the model is as accurate as it can get. And so you can see that the settlements are already starting. Yeah? There are some areas. So this is actually very good because most of the cranes are actually over the other side. It's not on this side. so it's a very fortunate thing. And so this is an example of what is able to predict, what is able to forecast, what is able to control. Right, I think with that, I sort of ended a very short presentation, but I hope I ran you through 4 cases very quickly. If you want more details, like the technical details, I think contact detail is there. I'm more happy to share because after all, I think, yeah, we need to learn from each other. So with that, I think, thank you so much for your attention. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cheong. You're definitely one of the most civil of engineers I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Thank you very much. Great presentation. I see that there are already questions for you in the Q&A box. So we will be welcoming you back later for the Q&A session. So thank you very much. Take a very quick break. We will get back to you in a very short while. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Billy.
And up next in today's very exciting webinar on ARVR, transforming the world of smart estate operations, we have a next topic, leveraging ARVR for construction and facility management. So, the likes of hotels and airports and so on. So our speaker is Mr. Shi Yanjie, the Managing Director of VALS, and he founded VALS in 2016, right? And VALS is a design and technology consultancy, right? So, Yanjie tells us that he's educated as an architect and he leads a team of very passionate and talented people, and they call themselves almost like the Avengers. They call themselves an assemblage of architects, programmers, and game designers. Are very interesting, and they help their partners to achieve digital transformation goals. And basically, he has been involved in and leads the development of this project called the Changi Airport Digital Twin System since 2017, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present our next speaker, Mr. Shi Yanjie, MD of VALS, and talking about leveraging AR/VR for construction and facility management. Yanjie, welcome, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Hello, I'm Yanjie from VALS. Thank you for making time for us today. Maybe just a very quick introduction about VALS first. Like what Didi had just said, we are an assemblage of architects and game developers. So my team is comprised of both architects as well as game developer trained engineers. We are only started in 2016, and we do front-end software design and development projects within the field of architecture and urban design. And we focus on the usage of the latest game engines, including Unity and Unreal Engine. We are a very small team. We only have 12 people, and we are based in Singapore. So generally speaking, our projects fall into 3 categories. Operations, agent-based simulations and training, as well as art and marketing projects. Today, I'll be talking more about the former 2. For operations, our operations-related projects generally are developed to enhance the efficiency and building performance for the end user from a spatial perspective using game engines. So the key advantage of using game engines in the projects is the ability to deliver different types of interactive experiences. Basically, we are making games, right? So to the end user, we can interact with them in many, many different ways and different mediums that make sense for the project that we're talking about. So this includes digital twins, like the Changi Airport, designed to integrate and display real-time data. Those help with management and controlling the environment. Applications to track events and personnel around compound, and also other tools that are built around this angle. This also includes experiences that are built before construction to engage users to test run special processes and spaces around the building. So our clients for this project usually have very specific buildings or typologies which are highly technical and efficiency driven. So like airports, hospitals, all that. So all of these are built in game engines which are flexible in the platform that we deploy in. So those include AR and VR, and the type of interactions we can have within those VR environments. So we usually position our projects to be complements to BIM. While we do not deal with construction as extensively, we are focused on the human to end user aspects of how a building performs a function. And many times this will impact how buildings are designed and used. For simulation and training, our focus is on using game engines to build qualitative studies and sandboxes to test and validate concerns that our clients might have. So for those gamers here, right, you will know that we are building something like an NPC AI system using data sets and behavior trees. So to simulate priorities and actions of different users of the buildings, yada, yada, yada. I will talk more in the case study. For training, we build educational games on different platforms using VR, AR, and web. Usually these projects will be for training of specific processes. They are either high risk, time sensitive, or expensive to train in reality. For arts and marketing, usually we'll partner with design firms for galleries and events. So to build the interactives, to design the hardware, software, the experience, all that. So today I prepared some example projects on the work we do. For the operations side, we have the Changi Airport digital twin. So VALS, we are partner with Changi Airport since 2017 to develop VR content for them. So this is only one of the projects that we did with them over the past few years. So many people ask what is a digital twin, right? And I think everybody has their own answer about what it is. So on a conceptual level, we approached the idea. Let me just play this video here. Yeah, we approached the idea of a digital twin from two angles. The first angle is we wanted a 1,300 hectare real-time 3D model that can consolidate different types of information together, yet provides the flexibility in developing front-end use cases that goes beyond construction and design. And so whenever they have a new project, they can choose to integrate the 3D models efficiently into the same environment as other buildings and infrastructure. So, or to build the project into case, into VR, and test with the larger context as well. So secondly, Changi Airport also has a lot of sensors and data in the operations, but due to siloed development, distinct data formats, much of these data sets are independent. So with a digital twin, we are able to consolidate different types of information like flight, taxi, facility information into a central data hub. And we present that in a way that makes sense for whoever is accessing or needs this type of data. And this can be developed into different applications using a game engine for the different groups of users within the airport or within the stakeholders. So this is an example of how we actually have real-time plane data displayed within a command center. So basically, when you see a plane flying in the model, you actually can see a plane flying overhead in the same time. That's, I think, a 3-second lag. So just a side note, we work with their secure databases, and since we focus on the front end, we are able to work with different types of database vendors out there. So by completing the data integration, the immediate use case, of course, if you have an airport model that can control the many different types of data, and you can actually increase the types of data that you control. Since it's a game engine, you can actually keep layering on it and improving what types of data that you want to see or what type of user want to see different types of data. So yes, this is basically the crux of the project. Let me go down. Yeah. So the gameplay possibilities of Unreal Engine also allow us to build application targeting specific users. So one of the use cases that we work with is actually about tracking personnel and projects as well as assets throughout the airport in real time. So this allows project managers to almost have a mini map to see where all their contractors are in the airport in real time. So when they say they are working on site A, whether they're actually on site A can be actually seen in the map. So it's a capitalist project, but it works. So these are some of the use cases that we are working on. So this also applies to assets. So we have such a huge airport, 7,000 over rooms, where everything is a huge problem. If you just track it through Excel or track it through name, like one of the major problems that you may find is where exactly is that room, right? Yeah. So all these kind of problems can be solved using a digital twin. Yeah. So the Changi Airport Digital Twin itself is a project testimonial to the value that game engine in architectural and built environment can be used in a way to enhance operations and the performance of a space or a building. And of course, because when we're building a game engine, we're also able to deploy the software on different platforms and variations, including mobile and web. This is especially important if you want to access it on the ground, right? Your workers want to use it on the phone. Your employees want to just use the web browser instead of downloading a huge software. So ultimately, what we do, as you can see in this diagram, is really in the front end part. We are flexible in terms of the data sets that we can access, in terms of the back end that the client has or they want to use. And we focus on designing the interface between the end users and the digital twin. And this is our company's focus, basically. The next project that I'll be sharing is a simulation project that we did with Fraser's Group. It's a global hospitality company. So this is what we call a pre-construction. In a sense that we went even before the architects. It's more at the BD and the service design stage of a project. So the aim of the project is to develop a sandbox environment, almost like a Grand Theft Auto game or something like The Sims, right? So to test a new type of business model. And since it's hospitality, is strongly correlated to space and architecture. In particular, how users and staff uses the space and how the different configuration of space will actually affect the performance, right? So the goal here is to evaluate, given the new operating processes, where will be potential choke points in terms of staffing, in terms of operations, and the potential solution to such problems. So in this project, as you can see, the focus is not so much on graphics as compared to the Changi one, but more on processes and operations. We are engaged together with the service design team to investigate, the different types of moving parts within a new building and a new business model. We can actually simulate and build up the behavior trees of different types of staff as well as visitors to the space or users of the space, basically. And these agents are then placed into different scenarios, and they are simulated to behave similarly to real humans in space. So basically, what happened to a housekeeper when they discover there's a task happening, right? So there's like 40, 50 different types of events, and they all make up into a 3-day scenario. Like 10 a.m. there's 50 check-ins, 11 a.m. there's 20, right? So all these are based on historical data. So by putting all these moving parts together and testing that with historical data, performance information, like when will the housekeeper be overrun with work and why are they overrun with work? Is it because like the room is not supposed to be here, it's taking too long to travel and all that? And by evaluating that, we're able to actually work out, whether this business actually works and also whether this building actually works if you configure it this way. So that's why we say this is, pre-construction, which is even before the tender stage, before the design brief. So by doing many iterations until the client is satisfied, we are actually able to work out a certain model where the performance of the building is acceptable to the client. And then this will then lead on to the creation of a design brief for the architects and the contractors after that. So this is another project that we deal with. Then the last part of my presentation is about creating training and educational applications using game engines. So it's pretty straightforward because game engines and making game applications to teach people is pretty straightforward. Usually these projects will be training for specific processes. They are high risk, time sensitive, expensive to train in reality. So the concept is to train 10 times in VR and then you go one time OJT on site. This, one of the projects that we do is the work from height scenario, this for construction. The idea is to train is to digitize the whole process, the safety process of how do you actually work from height, step by step. By the way, it's called, it's tracked, all your actions is, you will know exactly what worker did within the scenario. And this is one of the VR training suite for construction. So just to have a short video. Yeah, the idea is really to give the sense of immersiveness to the worker. It's almost like a pseudo OJT, in which you can feel the risk, you feel that you are there, you feel that you might fall off. And by doing that, you actually apply to what you learned from the PowerPoint and your handouts. And to really run a couple of these through before you even try to do it on site, because it is a dangerous affair and accidents do happen on site all the time. So this is just a quick example of what we did for training. So then moving on from that safety training is also using game engines to build other type of testing scenarios. So what we have here is actually a driving suite that we designed for Changi Airport as well. So they are doing a lot of infrastructure projects, and much of these projects are actually don't really engage end users. So many of them are engaged through surveys, or they look at plans and drawings and imagine that they are using the space. So a lot of the time you will only discover some problems to the building or the construction at the end of the thing. So basically the building up already, I try to use it, then I realize there's some problem. Then if I want to try to fix it, it's going to be very costly. So what we do is we digitize scenarios and important scenarios and processes for these key end users. So it's not just visitors. I don't just come here to see whether the building is nice, but it's also about the staff and the workers. Like I'm a taxi driver. It's important for the building or for the development that my work is efficient, right? If the passenger cannot get a taxi within time, then they're gonna have some problems. So the key thing of using game engines is that you can target all these scenarios and you can build and score these narratives. It's not just about seeing, there's really a level, there's a narrative, there's things that need to do in order for this to be proven that it works. Yeah, so this is a quick video. Yeah, so the key advantage of a game engine is that we can flexibly build this kind of games that really target this kind of processes. So many of that we do in VR as well, but VR of course is more for pedestrian, but for driving, driving is often more flexible. So the same model, we actually have it in VR and cave as well. So this is one of the flexibilities of doing your game engine. So in conclusion, yeah, this is one I forgot I have on my slide. Yes, we also use augmented reality for urban design projects. So this is more for marketing purpose and to explain and educate the general public on how do you, what is urban design, right? So urban design, when we look at, we visit a show, to us is basically, the nice physical model, nice panels, nice pictures, all that. But actually there's a lot of thoughts and thinking into why is the town planned this way, how am I expected to use the urban design? So using augmented reality, we can actually make use of things like a physical model, and we can break it down into many different layers on why is the urban design done this way? What is the design rationale behind it? And this is an example of what we have. I think this ITAP, one of the years that we did with JTC. So this is one of the examples of how AR can also be used to educate the public on very technical subjects like urban design. So yeah, this is basically the end of my presentation. Ultimately, VAL's position of projects be more human-centric. What we do not deal with construction as extensively, we really focus more on the human and end user aspects on how a building or a city functions and works. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yan Jie. Very, very great showcase of the digital twin concept for Changi Airport. Very interesting. Also, your simulation for the hotel, as well as the use of the NPC AI system. Very interesting. Thank you very much. We'll bring you back later for Q&A in just a short while. So in the meantime,
sure,
do grab your coffee. We'll see you we'll hear from you in a very short while. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, coming up next, we're gonna move on to the topic of optimizing workflows with AR, and the speaker is Guillaume Panot, Business and Tech Director of Augmentic, and he has been in mobile apps development since 2013, right? After 15 years in the industrial business. So he says that he's focused on developing the business for Augmentic by offering the best in class, right? The best in class technology procedures, right? Digitally for 4.0 frontline worker revolution. Very, very, very interesting concept. And of course, Augmentic, right, is a tech startup. There's also is a Pixel incubating alumnus. So congratulations on graduating from a Pixel Augmentic. And Augmentic is also a tech solver on the Open Innovation Platform, the OIP. And of course, they offer a process management software that basically helps companies to digitalize workflows within weeks, right? Optimize and automate processes, right, with cutting-edge technology, train technicians more efficiently using AR, and also guide technicians in real time with remote experts. So basically, in a nutshell, right, Augmentic provides a no-code platform that allows companies, right, to design, build, and deploy their own applications and within weeks, right? So we're talking about companies in logistics, manufacturing, construction, and so on. So it's going to be a very interesting showcase. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Guillaume Panot, Business and Tech Director of Augmentic, to talk about optimizing workflows with AR. Welcome, Guillaume.
Thank you, Billy, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Good afternoon. Yeah, we are located at the Pixel building, basically, where we work from there remotely, also from time to time. So basically, today I'm going to talk about Augmented, the company, also a platform where we focus much more on how do we optimize the workflows for the frontline workers. We do it with AR or also without AR. Oops. What is Augmented platform is basically what we call the frontline worker platform. What we focus on is how do we upgrade basically the frontline workers. If I want to compare this to the logistic has been improving a lot in the last miles deliveries, right? And in the industry, it's still lagging. We can see in all of the companies, they have beautiful ERPs, CRM, about 5 or 6 different software for counting, etc. But there's a lagging aspect, which is most of the time what's going on the front line. At the end of the day, the guy have to execute the work, and there's a lot of human problem, human issues, quality issues, etc., etc. So we, with Augmented platform, we focus on this. How do we optimize and train your staff or the basically frontline workers to the 4.0 industry standards, as we call. Augmented can be used for standard operating procedures. So for the one who are not very familiar, in most companies, you have a QA, you have a procedure. Usually now they're all in PDF. On the network server, you have to find out. They usually are pretty heavy, like 20, 30 pages or even more, depending on industry. So very difficult to digest, to find, and not always available on sites. So we do this. We help you to basically do the digitalization of your procedure, and also in a very simple way for everyone to understand. We focus with the platform also on the maintenance and repair. So let's say you have to do an inspection, then you have to do a procedure and redo an inspection behind the procedure, like repairing something. This platform can combine both of them. So you can do the complete check from inspection, doing the repair, inspect again, validate it, and make sure everything has been done. And this can be tracked, of course. The platform can be used also for technical support. There is a functionality, a module for remote assistance with pretty much advanced features, which will be very interesting. We try to compete with basically all the TeamViewer guys, etc., which we believe don't integrate the full user experience, like 2 people who cannot speak to each other. How do you make the person going somewhere doing the work without the voice or the audio, or they cannot understand each other? So we work on this. Then, of course, the platform can be used for training, can be done using the smart glasses, or can be used with a mobile phone or simply an iPad. Where we are in the manufacturing and the construction. So we have done a project I'm going to show you later with Hong Long as well for Singapore. It's pretty much innovative. So from paperwork for their frontline workers. So we have been validated the prototype, and we are entering now the phase 1. There's a little bit of AR and object recognition. We're going to talk about it. Mainly the platform is used for digitalizing basically a procedure. In terms of assembly lines, so for example, when you have a high turnover business, you may need to train people very, very fast. So this is where, with our solution, basically, you save about 30% of your time for training someone, and you are sure that they execute what has to be done because it's one instruction after another in a very simple way. And at the end of the procedure or the task, you can see if everything has been done on time because it's timed, and if everything has been done properly because they can also clean information within. You can do also obviously the troubleshoot with a remote assistance. We can discuss a bit later about that. You're gonna improve reduce the downtime and engage the worker with some continuous improvements. What I suggest you is we have 3 videos just to match the 15 minutes. So let's have a look at it.
Paper-based standard operating procedures, which are inefficient and marred with liability issues. Building a dedicated software to optimize workflows can take months. Turn your labor-intensive digitization into a streamlined, simple process with Augmented. Now industrial companies can deploy standardized, automated, and optimized procedures within days using our customizable app builder. Simply select a template, choose from any of our pre-developed features, and plug into your legacy systems. There is no coding required. Once done, you can quickly deploy the processes to your technicians on their smartphones, tablets, or even smart glasses. Our software is really flexible and user-friendly. No matter your requirements, we've got you covered. You can build field service applications that optimize the way your technicians work. Maintenance, repair, and operations workflows can be digitized to maximize critical assets uptime. Inspection and monitoring applications improve response speed to unexpected events and prevent failures. Training programs powered by our augmented reality manuals improve knowledge transfer and retention. Remote assistance provides field technicians immediate access to expertise while recording working sessions. Discover a better way to digitize workflows, improve productivity, reduce liabilities, and assist your technicians remotely. Let's face it.
Okay, so basically what you have understood is we digitalize procedure. We spend time with the customer also to really understand their needs, what is really missing, and basically we help them to create what is required. We like to talk with the customer basically about what are the needs, what they want to do, and we put our engineer hat basically, and we spend time to optimize processes. So before digitalizing what you have, basically we will spend time basically on focusing on the processes and how do we optimize the processes first, and then we implement the augmented platform on this. Very good. Okay. Another success story is very strong on. One of their problems, they wanted to digitalize completely their procedure in terms of inspection of cabinets. So in the phase one, in this prototype, we basically completely digitalized inspection. I'm going to play the video, you can understand pretty easily. And so basically you have the cabinet on the floor, you can see. Right. So we want to start. Okay, let me just try again. Sorry. Okay, if I cannot play it, unfortunately, I'm going to just comment then. Maybe we start. So basically, you have the worker on the left, and he has to inspect the cabinet if the cabinet has been installed in the different apartments. And it's always a headache to check if the cabinet is there, it has been installed properly, if the plumber or the tile guy, scratch it, etc. Everything was done with an Excel file and a pencil, and now everything is done in real time. So basically, the guy just spent literally, we check about a quarter of his time to do this. And basically, there's no more human error except if he doesn't clean properly the things. Okay, so sorry about that one. So in the phase one, just for information in terms of AR, they want us basically to detect and validate if everything is there. So we save a little bit more time. and also do accounting for what is there. In terms of modules, we also talk about adding a QR code where they can scan basically the palette if all the goods has arrived properly. This one is another project that we are doing with BSI, basically. BSI is, for your information, they do inspection. So this one is for example, a food factory. They want to inspect if the chicken are prepared properly, and if the cleanliness is okay, if the guy are properly trained, etc. So what we offer basically, we obviously have the standard operating procedure, and then we create a step-by-step semi-immersive experience within the factory, which will look like, as we know, like the street view. So basically, they will be able to navigate through the factory and create an inspection point. So this is just the concept, and we are building it, but this is how we do. Today, they have a lot of issues about creating the semi-immersive experience, and it's just basically a PDF file at the end of the day that they give. And there are a lot of trust issue in that aspect. So BSI, for example, there is a third-party the inspector doing the inspection on the factory. Let me just check if I can show you what it looks like. All right, okay, so pretty simple app. This one is blocks 13. They have 8 levels. They have a 12 unit, and basically they have to do the inspection. So here is what it looks like. The guy can do the inspection in basically no time for the master room. He can take a picture, snap the picture. He can also do comments or had notes on it if something is wrong for them to report later on. And that's about it. So everything is linked also with analytics. So they know how much time the guy spent on it, and if everything is done, and they can auto invoice basically to their customer. We also do the AR, which is basically a remote assistance. So 2 people discussing together, and let me just play the video. We're almost at the 15 minutes now. So it's pretty quick. We call this AR manual. So this is where you can train basically your technician about what they have to do and how they are supposed to do. So we basically track and add a 3D object, and in a very simple way, you can help someone to do the work. So you can see we keep this thing very simple. We are not going through the crazy 3D things. You can just add the simple symbols or icon, and this does the work. Because first, usually when you're far away, you don't have much bandwidth. Usually 3G, 3D 2 bars. So we take this into consideration, and adding a lot of 3D animation it takes a lot of resources. So this is what we offer also with our platform. We work with Shell. We work also with SATS. We work with Honglong, BSI, and a few other customers basically. And if you have a project, just let us know. We'll be happy to talk about it. That's about it for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Guillaume. Very, very interesting showcase. I love the one about the checking the cupboards and all that. I think that one can be used for things like asset tracking and so on, right? And when you want to check all your assets in a big location and so on. So it's very useful. And Guillaume, I have good news for you. You have about 3 minutes to grab a cup of coffee before we return for the Q&A. So we're going to time you right now. You can start running to get a coffee right now. We'll be see you back for the Q&A in just a short while. So thank you very much. We'll say hi to you in a very short while. In the meantime, our next session in today's webinar is a special sharing on Pixel facilities and programs. I'd like to invite my colleagues. First, we have Janice Lim from IMDA Pixel, as well as Ms. Valerie Ng from IMDA's C2PO. Yeah, you heard it right. This is not Star Wars. This is C2PO. It stands for Communications and Connectivity Program Office. So I'd like to bring on Janice and Valerie to present on Pixel facilities and programs. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. So I'm just going to do a very quick introduction of Pixel today, and you might be wondering how you're able to, kickstart some of your ARVR projects here with us. So Pixel, for those who haven't heard of us before, we are a 2-story incubation as well as innovation space at One North. And we're really focused on the tech community here. So you can see that many ARVR companies have passed through our doors, but we've also have a good pool of frontier tech related companies. So we have data companies and AI companies with us as well. So today, Pixel is a space where you can really build and test your tech solutions. And I think the audience today is probably a little bit more interested in the space of AR/VR. So relating to that, we do have two very specialized labs that you can use, and it's actually open and free for the industry. So one is we have 5G connectivity here at Pixel. We are one of the 4 spaces in Singapore currently with 5G connection, and you're able to see how the benefits of 5G can help you build your digital experience. My colleague will share a little bit later on about a 5G grant program that we have if you like to commercialize your 5G solution. Our AR/VR lab here at Pixel, we do have a very wide range of hardware and software that is open for everyone to come and test with. So it really helps you to lower some of the barriers to entry or the development cost when you're looking at building your AR/VR solution. So I won't go through one by one, but we do have a very wide range of industry-ready hardware available today, including our very popular HoloLens 2 as well as Oculus Quest. In terms of the software, we're gradually building up this list that you see here as well. So do contact us to find out how you can access some of these starter kits. We will also share about how some of these providers here will talk more about how to use their solutions through a technical workshops. So if you are thinking about building your own AR/VR project, or if you have a use case in mind, how Pixel can step in to support your journey is one, through ideation workshops to help you refine your AR/VR or 5G use case. Two, we have a very rich community here of AR/VR tech solvers. So we are there to help you to match with a tech solver that's able to address your business need. And the last point is really Pixel. Think of Pixel as that space for you to develop your POC and to commercialize your solution. So this is the first of our AR/VR webinar series. We do have more coming up for the industrial sector as well as the lifestyle sector. So do keep a lookout for them as well. There's a QR code that you see at the top of your screen. So just click on the scan through there so that you can get signed up to our mailing list as well. I'll pass the time over to my colleague Valerie, who will share a bit more on the technical workshops coming up.
Hello, hi everyone. Hi everyone. Hi, Valerie here. Hi. So besides webinar sessions, IMDA have also put together a series of AR/VR technical workshop to help participants jumpstart in the use of AR/VR and collaboration tools. So this workshop will provide a walkthrough of functionalities and a demo of some of these AR/VR tools and platforms. So participants will learn to create XR experiences for human-to-human collaboration, remote assistant and training, and customer engagement type of use cases. So far, we have put together 3 workshops, and this workshop will basically feature Eon Reality, PTC Vuforia, Unreal, Hyperlab, and also NVIDIA and Tencent. So we will be sharing this deck with you, and so do sign up for this workshop using the QR code on this page. And now let me just do a quick sharing as well on 5G Innovation Grant Program by IMDA. So this program actually is aimed at accelerating adoption and commercialization of 5G solution. So in terms of the proposal that come in for this program, this should be focused in the 3 tech domain areas of robotics, IoT, AI, AR, and VR. Applicant should be a Singapore registered company. Applicant can either be a tech provider or end user company. So in terms of funding, this program will actually fund up to 70% of qualifying costs. The various qualifying components include manpower, hardware, software, materials and ICT services, professional services, and in the event that applicant want to apply for intellectual property, we do support that as well. And of course, we will also be sharing this deck with you. You can go to this web link to find out more details about the program. And if you need to inquire more, feel free also to email to us. This slide also share on some of these illustrative 5G use cases, but we're not limited to these in terms of the proposal submission. I've come to the end of IMDA sharing. We'll pass the time back to Billy.
Okay, thank you for
Billy.
sharing. Thank you, Valerie and Janice, for sharing about Pixel as well as IMDA's 5G Innovation Grant, which is actually very great news for people developing 5G applications and so on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're now come to the crown jewel of today's webinar. We're going to move into the Q&A session right now. I'm going to invite back our 4 expert speakers today. Kartik, welcome back, Kartik, from Eon Reality. Welcome back, Dr. Chong from Aviation Virtual. I'd like to welcome back Yenjie from VALS, as well as Guillaume from Augmentic. Welcome back, gentlemen. And I believe that, our speakers have been very busy. They've been answering some of the questions that were posted by some of you on the floor. So I'd just like to quickly go through the questions that have been answered and just to confirm you guys that you guys have gotten your replies. So Eddie Liao sent a question about I think about the platform. Basically, he was asking about Eon XR, and I believe Kartik has already answered already about how Eon XR is hardware agnostic. So thank you very much, Kartik, for answering that question from Eddie. And Anonymous asked a question for Aviation Virtual about the projects, right? Does Aviation Virtual typically work with architects or developers? And I think Dr. Chong already answered that it's a mix. And the challenge is always who is willing to pay for it. So very good answer from Dr. Chong. And another question from Eddie in the answer group, he says about the CAAS workplace transformation, the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore workplace transformation. So what does it take to change the design? And then Dr. Chong answered that it's quite quickly to change it and so on. So you can read the answers for yourself. And then Stella asked a very interesting question, and Stella asked that simulations in the 2D and 3D space have been around for a long time. So what is the added advantage of the metaverse? And I believe that Dr. Chong did his best to answer. He says that essentially it's a 3D version of the web and so on. But I'm going to do my work as a moderator, and I'm going to arrow our other presenters, right, to actually answer this question as well. So Stella asked, simulations in the 2D, 3D space have been around for a long time. So what is the added advantage of the metaverse? May I invite, first of all, Kartik to throw in his 2 cents worth for this question? Kartik, are you able to answer this?
Sure, definitely. So as Dr. Xiong mentioned, metaverse is actually, a generic term that people use these days. It's kind of like a 3D for the web. And yes, we already have, AR and VR applications that everyone actually develops on their own, but they're all independent. But what metaverse allows us to do is like to create our own virtual world with every other application kind of connected inside that virtual world. And also, some of them actually connect the creation of these virtual applications as NFTs as well. So people can actually come, create, and also, use it as a marketplace for selling and distribution as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kartik. And now I'm going to point the arrow to Yenjie. Yenjie, would you like to answer this question? What is the advantage of the metaverse?
The key idea, I mean, people think that metaverse is a new thing, but there are case studies of successful metaverse projects, like Roblox is a recent one. And much earlier, I think it's a better example of metaverse will be Second Life, for those of you all who know about it. So it reached a stage where countries will actually because value of the digital assets is created with this Second Life. So I agree with Dr. Xiong and Kartik that the key focus is user generated, and at the same time, the content that the user generates can sort of become money in a sense. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Yenjie. Okay, finally, I'd like to invite Guillaume to also share with us his thoughts on what is the added advantage of the metaverse from the perspective of Augmentic. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe from a little bit more like a B2B side on a practical way, when you will start to have people more comfortable in sharing information in 3D, because we always struggle about visualizing things, where this time we can put the objects in a more visual, so people can understand better. We are not always born as a designer or interior design, and then it's a bit complicated. So the metaverse could help us to understand where we go and doing the simulation. So I believe the productivity will come there and the decision as well.
Okay, thank you, Guillaume. Thank you for your 2 cents worth on this very interesting topic. So I guess all our experts are very in agreement that the Metaverse is very promising and full of potential. That's great. Okay, we have a question from Eddie Liao that was not answered. Eddie was asking, is it something easy that the end user can redo? I believe he was referring to the Eon XR platform. So maybe can I invite Karthik to answer this question from Eddie about, is it something easy that end users can redo, reuse the assets and so on of the Eon XR platform? Yeah.
Sure, Billy. Yes. So the content that you create with Eon XR platform are always readable. So they're not end applications. So, you can always kind of re-edit them and, kind of update them as and when needed as well. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Karthik. We do have one question that I think my colleague Janice has typed. It was a question from Fu Zhi, but I'd like to invite Janice to actually maybe elaborate more about the various VR equipment that we have and the software that we have here at Pixel. Jenny, would you like to summarize today's webinar by sharing more about what we have here at Pixel to offer to our audience out there?
Thanks, Billy, for highlighting. So today, I think we are very fully equipped on the hardware side. So as you can see earlier, we do have a full range of both the AR as well as the VR headsets. So thanks for alerting us to the Unreal developer kit. I think we'll take a closer look at it, but so far we are slowly building up our list of available software as well. So like what Karthik mentioned today, the Eon XR platform will definitely be ready at Pixel for all of us to test out too.
Okay, thank you very much, Janice. We made a great combo. My question and you answered. Thank you very much, Janice. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have answered almost every question already. Oh wait, there's one last one for Karthik. I think we do have 1 minute of time left, so I'm going to answer this question. And it says, how feasible is it to use your existing solutions to recreate a real environment as photorealistic as possible, including 3D render environments of objects for real-time collaboration and operation? Okay, so Karthik, would you take a look at this question and answer this person about how feasible is it to use a real photorealistic environment? Yeah. In the metaverse, yeah.
Sure. So our platform allows you to import the 3D scan data. Let's say, if you use your smartphone, you can actually import from tools like Scanniverse, for example, or Trinio, or maybe if you upload to tools or marketplaces such as Sketchfab, you can also upload it from there as well. And along with that, if you have use professional scanning tools such as Leica, so you can actually export that into a format, and our platform supports 70 different formats. So you can just drag and drop that and that into a format that can be playable across multiple devices as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Karthik. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in exploring this, do drop us a note, because we will be, offering the Eon XR platform for our Pixel community. So if you're interested, do drop us a note to explore how we can help you get a sense of how powerful the whole platform is. Thank you very much, Karthik, and thank you very much, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more mission to fulfill before we end today's very special webinar, and this is the very popular item called the feedback form. Yes, we definitely need your feedback to help us improve our series of webinars in the Pixel ARVR Metaverse series. So do help us out by giving us your frank opinion. My colleague Amira is going to flash the link for the feedback form. And yes, we have the feedback form QR code right now. Do scan it and give us your frank feedback. We'll give you just a couple of minutes to take a look at the questions. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, do share our thoughts about today's webinar, which is, of course, transforming smart estate operations with ARVR. You've seen a whole host of use cases, or what is called case studies, of actual real-world deployment of AR/VR and metaverse-like technologies, helping companies, all the way from the app to the megapods in between, even the Guangzhou, knowledge city, using simulation, using visualization, using 3D models, using interactive sort of environments, and even the use of AR to help people learn safety and complex equipment repairs and so on. So this is a very interesting field. It's only going to get even more interesting as our experts develop more and more applications and get to work with more and more companies, and they compile the experience, and they as they spearhead the next generation of metaverse related apps. Okay, how long more do we have to give for the feedback, DJ Amira? Okay, we're gonna leave it on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending today's webinar. Of course, this is the first in Pixel's new ARVR Metaverse webinar series. I have great news for you. We are going to have another webinar in this series very, very soon. It's happening on the 26th of January 2022. Later on, I'll get my DJ Amira friend to flash the poster, but basically it's titled Transforming Industrial Operations with ARVR, taking place on Wednesday, 26th of January 2022 from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Again, it'll be a Zoom webinar, and we will be sharing the sign-up links on our social media as well as through our EDM. So if you have not yet connected with us, do go back and check the Zoom chat group where we have actually listed our various links to our LinkedIn, our EDM sign-up, as well as our website. Go and look for all the information there. We will be sending out all this information very, very soon, so you can sign up. In fact, the website is already live right now, so I'm going to get my DJ colleague Amira to flash the URL in the chat group, so you can actually sign up for our next webinar in this series. It's called Transforming Industrial Operations with ARVR. We have a grand total of 5 experts coming online, one more than today, and they'll be talking about how they are transforming industrial operations using, of course, ARVR. And we're going to explore more of how the metaverse is going to transform the way businesses do all these complicated activities, right? How they simulate, how they build, how they design, how they communicate and connect, and so on. Okay, so once again, it's happening on the 26th of January, Wednesday, from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. All right, so we'll see you guys in about a couple of weeks. In the meantime, thank you very much for joining us today. We hope you had a great time. Feel free to drop us a line at our Pixel contacts, including our social media, and we'll love to get back to you with all the information that we have. Thank you very much. And once again, we look forward to seeing you at our next webinar, which is titled, once again, Transforming Industrial Operations with ARVR, happening on the 26th of January 2022 from 30 p.m. to Team IMDA Pixel, wishing you a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye.